I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, September the 25th, brought to you in part by the National Beef Wire. And today's spotlight is on Hub City Livestock, Aberdeen, South Dakota. It's on channel 6022 on the National Beef Wire, and you can view that sale here on Wednesday, Hub City Livestock, Aberdeen, South Dakota on the National Beef Wire. The packers patronize the cattle industry. We can see as we're starting to join forces and get together a little bit, maybe put up a little bit of resistance at what level we can do it to try to fight back against this vertical integration and everything that's gone on, and to raise a little hell and bring about a little awareness about all the collusion and the price fixing and gouging and unfair trade practices that went on since that fire in Holcomb, Kansas. And it seems like they're a little bit easier to get along with. It seems like the board's a little bit friendlier. Maybe we should bow up a little more often. But we did get an update on the antitrust suit that RCAF has against the Big Four packers. And if you look through that, you can see that the packers are patronizing the cattle people. The Packers defense team wrote in there that the repeal of mandatory COOL, country of origin labeling law, affected cattle values significantly, and that's how come prices went so far down in 2015. And it wasn't anything to do with your packers, and they wouldn't do such a thing as collude and price fix and pin things down and make fantastic record profits while all your cattle people are going broke. They wouldn't do such a thing. They also filed a motion to dismiss the suit, of course, to start out with. But you know, they're just I don't know if they think that we're that stupid or what. But you know, if the COOL law that it was causing the prices to go down so much, where were they during that? They were reaping gigantic profits. I'm not saying that the repeal of the COOL law didn't hurt the prices a little bit. A lot of the reason your prices went down so much in 2015 is because they were way too high in 2013 and 14. They had a long ways to fall. It had a lot to do with supply and demand. But a lot of that has to do with the collusion of the packers. And if you remember how fast that market went down, it took a long time to gain it. And of course, we were artificially pushing that market with the board, if you kind of know what was going on during that. But it didn't take long for them to take it down. And they're trying to pretend that they don't have a monopoly and they don't take advantage of the cattle industry and the cattle people, and that they don't have dreams of completely vertically integrating the thing and taking it over like they have the hogs and chickens and all the other protein sources. But I tell you what, that the patronizing is a little bit kind of insults your intelligence a little bit there. But let's talk about what went on the board on Tuesday. Your October live cattle futures were up 27 cents at $102.12. December was off 35 cents, and it was kind of mixed throughout all your traded months on your live cattle contracts. But December was down 35 cents at 107.42. September feeder cattle down 35 cents at 141.25. Of course, we've seen some big gains out of them of recent. October up 40 cents at 141.65. Fat cattle trade has been non-existent, which is good this early in the week, but didn't have anything on Monday. And on Tuesday, mandatory price reporting had a whopping one load out of Iowa at $163. So the guys are standing pretty firm on that. And so we don't know. We're still hoping we can gain another buck or two. And the way that the Packers are being so apologetic now, they may be coming in here hoping that it kind of cools people's tempers a little bit and they don't get too riled up. But I tell you what, we're on our third day now of the Twitter campaign. Hopefully you guys are participating in that and sending a tweet and tagging at Real Donald Trump and including the hashtag fair cattle markets. So I hope you guys are doing that. A lot of us are. I'm sending one every morning. A lot of us have kind of got into a competition to see who can send the best tweet. So I invite you guys to get involved in that too. And the other deal I'm going to continue to preach about until it's over is come to Omaha a week from today, next Wednesday. Come to Omaha, and we've got the rally to stop the stealing put on by the Organization of Competitive Markets. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be an all-day deal. We start at 9:30, going until 4. Going to be at the Ramada Inn there in Omaha, same place that they had the big rally there over 25 years ago, and did a lot of good with that. But we've got people coming in from all over the country, people carpooling in, people taking buses in, people flying in, and especially you guys around the Midwest. How could it be more centrally located? Come to Omaha. Well, I got a sale I usually go to on Wednesday. They're probably going to have another sale next Wednesday. But just come to Omaha, get involved in it. Talked to a guy today that said that he was an ag teacher and he wanted to bring his students. I said, hey, put them in their official dress, and I think that would be fantastic. But we're going to have a lot of media there. They're going to put on a pretty big show. And it's a place where you can see myself and Bill Bullard speak at the same place. So it'll be a good draw there. They've got some other good speakers there. They've got a senator coming in there. We've got Fred Stokes from Organization of Competitive Markets there. It's going to be a good deal, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to join anything. You don't have to buy anything. Just show up and come in. They're going to have plenty of room for everybody. Going to be able to accommodate any kind of a crowd that would get there. They are asking if you go onto this link that has the flyer on it, if you're wanting the lunch, they're putting together lunches there. They are asking for people to RSVP if they would like the lunch. That's it. So it's a pretty easy deal to come to, especially you guys there in Iowa, South Dakota, and Nebraska. Right around there close, you got to come to this deal and kind of help make a stand. The more people we get there, the better. So I'm going to continue to preach about that until it happens. So you got a whole nother week about it. But what else is going on? Well, Stockman's livestock there in Yankton, South Dakota, had their fat cattle sale. We've seen the receipts increase there as people are trying to look for competition. About 3,000 head at their slaughter cattle auction on Tuesday. It wasn't quite as high on the tippy top on the stick out sales as it was a week ago, but still most of your cattle were bringing $103 to $109, and that's better than you can get direct. So it's amazing what competition does. So you guys find an auction to sell them, or some type of a way to get some more leverage in there when you're selling those fat cattle. What else is going on? On Tuesday night, there was a statement put out that China is rumored to have made a huge pork purchase from us, from the United States, which they're trying to kind of heal negotiations with Trump on getting this trade deal figured out. They've lost a huge portion of their swine over there due to that swine fever, and they're starting to get hungry. Over here, we're talking about trying to find a way to eat mashed up peas and stuff and put enough liquid smoke on them to choke them down. That's because we haven't been hungry for a long time. Those people over in China are hungry, and they want real meat, and they would love to have some of our beef too. So maybe if we start sending them a lot more pork regularly, and even chicken too, that will kind of heal negotiations, and eventually we'll start sending them a lot more beef, and that would be great. And I tell you what, that would fix things quicker than anything if we could get China to start taking a whole lot of our beef. But they're rumored to have made a huge purchase, like 100,000 metric tons of pork, and that would be fantastic because we just need to get some more trade facilitated with China. But let's talk about what's going on in your feeder cattle markets. Your real-time index on Cattle Market Central late in the day on Tuesday sitting at 139.40 based on an 800-pound steer. That was up 35 cents, so we've had a good, strong, steady market and firm. so far this week, and I know it's still early, but we're getting along pretty good. I was in El Reno, Oklahoma on Tuesday, watched part of the calf sale there. Good to see all the guys there, and always like being able to stop by OKC West whenever I'm in the neighborhood. But 1,500 head of calves there, still a light run. Pretty damp around there. They had some good rains there over the weekend, and guys' attitudes were a lot better as far as the moisture situation, because they're planting wheat like crazy out there. They were starting to get a little bit dry, and they'd had so much moisture early, and then they kind of got dry, and it kind of gets to be a hard pan after that, but had some moisture and putting a lot of wheat in the ground. People were kind of excited about having some early wheat grazing there. Of course, people kind of disgusted with the way the markets have been, and all the upheaval and the market crisis that happened since the fire there at Holcomb, Kansas, there in the Tyson plant. But I think things are coming back around, and you'll see some of the other markets. I give you some pretty impressive quotes on some yearling cattle. Ozarks Regional Stockyards, West Plains, Missouri, 4,200 head. And you think, my God, they get that many cattle? Yes, that's a normal run for West Plains, Missouri. They've got an absolutely fantastic facility there, have had for a long time. It's in extreme south central Missouri, can throw a rock to Arkansas, and they get the goosenecks in there. I tell you what, there's about 13 places to unload a gooseneck there at West Plains, Missouri, and it's fun to just go watch those guys that haul for hire whip in there and turn around. They've got two places you drive through. That's for the farmers. All the rest of them are for your hired haulers there. But it's fun to watch them come in there in those pipe trailers and unload those cattle and then jet back out to go get some more. But Ozarks Regional Stockyards, West Plains, Missouri, 4,200 head there. Feeders $2 to $3 higher. Calves steady to $4 higher. I was talking to Dan Hill there, a former co-worker, guy that gets the market. He's the market man for Department of Agriculture there in Missouri, and he gets the markets there. He does a really good job. He's a part-time dump truck driver. I don't know if you guys knew that, but he has receipts, said that receipts were down 11,000 year to date. As we finish up September there. That's because people have just been holding their cattle back the last several months because the market's been down so bad, and they didn't want them. They could kind of hold them there because they did have some moisture there early, and even though they're in the rocks there and you're only a few days from a drought in that part of the country, they've held those cattle for a long time. One individual consignment that they had at West Plains on Tuesday was 213 head of 1,003-pound steers. They don't keep them that long in that part of the country, guys. But the guy he didn't like the market. He just left them out there. They kept gaining. They were 75% black and black baldy, but mixed. Put together cattle, but a pretty good kind. But 213 head of them one whack weigh 1,003 pounds at $126.35 on a $101, $102 fat cattle market. But that's an interesting quote come out of West Plains. Another market in a whole different part of the country on some light calves. Winter Livestock, Riverton, Wyoming, 71 head, and that's only a half a load. Little peewee steers weighed 375, but they'd be the right kind at 204. So it's always good to see a two front figure there whenever your market's down. Clarinda, Iowa. They hadn't had a humdinger for quite a while, but Clarinda, Iowa, and I want to give a shout out to Russell Sleep. He auctioneers there and works the country for Clarinda. He's a world champion livestock auctioneer right now. He's putting together a big horse sale, or he's already got it put together. Going to be right here on dvauction.com. It's going to be October the 5th, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning Central. And he's got a bunch of really good horses on there. You can go on to dvauction.com and look at his catalog that he has on there. He calls it the Midwest Classic Horse Sale. It's going to be on Saturday, October the 5th. If you guys are in the market for some horses, come to Clarinda on Saturday, October the 5th, or get online at DV Auction. You can view and bid on that sale there, the Midwest Classic Horse Sale, Russell Sleep. But in Clarinda, the cattle auction on Tuesday, look at these loads of yearling steers they've had there. And like I said, it's been kind of quiet around there too. They're seasonal in that part of the country there, but starting to come back around, and some of these good yearling cattle there. But loads of them, including in there, if you look, 51 head of 867 pound steers at $147, and 59 head of 786 pound steers at $150.60. But I've got to give the top quote for Tuesday. And ever since we started getting his information on Cattle Market Central, he's been topping the market every Tuesday. And that's Denny Rezac at Rezac Livestock Commission in St. Mary's, Kansas. They sell loads of yearlings there, guys. And they'll have a lot of good calves here as we work later on into the fall and winter. But look at this quote out of Rezac Livestock Commission. 64 head of 849 pound steers at $150 smooth. That's your feeder flash for Wednesday.